Worthy by design. Women must learn to network upward, sidewards, and downwards. Older women provide mentoring and leadership. Your contemporaries provide inspiration and support. And younger women provide vigor and help broaden or freshen your perspective. Intergenerational friendships are powerful. This is a quote from Shola Adesokin. Hello, thanks for joining us on today's edition of Worthy by Design, brought to you by Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. I am Ibera Chims. Welcome. How really does intergenerational networking impact on women's journey to success? Joining in on this conversation is Kilta Giwa. Did I pronounce the name right?
Yes, you got it well.
It's good to have you on the show, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me.
She's a development practitioner. So there are indeed opportunities for women to network. But I think there's a lot to be talked about. Let's build this conversation. I think I'd want to build it from the angle of the International Women Month. We've been celebrating the women all month long.
Yeah.
And this year's celebration was tagged Embracing Equity. Can you talk to us a little about this, whole concept of embracing equity?
Thank you so much. So just like you talked about, coming from history, our journey so far as women, we've not been at an advantage. But as we move forward and times have changed, how do we ensure that in this space where we are, that there are opportunities provided to support the women to be where they are? Not just in terms of equality, but equity because there are no considerations for them to be where they want to be. And that's where the equity comes in. So equity is about providing that deliberate provision of support to make that woman get to where she's supposed to be. Either to get to a level playing ground. So equity is about fairness. And if two of us, we may be women, but we will not be some level. There's what you need to be at where I am. There's what I need to be at where you are. So those little things you provide, those support systems put in place to make me reach that level, I think is what we were discussing in this theme this year, that how do we support women, especially when it comes to the digital divide. Statistics have shown that women are far way behind. Not many women have access to digital devices. And of course, we know the advantages that come with the use of the digital devices in this world. You have opportunities to learn, to network, education, build business networks, do a lot of things. So how do we ensure that women who do not have this opportunity, are provided with that support for them to be able to access and benefit from this existing resources? So I think basically it's about, yes, there's need to embrace that equity and bring women to that level playing ground where they can also be the best and of course contribute their quota to the society.
So what you're saying is that this support, if provided, will become the turning point for women. Sure. Or is it that we're going to be discussing this next year?
No, I don't think you should.
Will we make progress?
Well, it's about acceptance that yes, we need to provide that support. So if that understanding is there, then we need to just go look back. There are a lot of researches, there are a lot of evidences that have been provided where the gaps are. Okay. So it's about responding to the gaps. That is what will determine whether we'll be discussing the same thing next year. Okay. So, for instance, how many women, what the statistics say about women who have access to digital technology? How many women even have the knowledge? So where do we even start for women to be on the same level using ICT? First of all, it's about knowledge. Let them know about it. If they can't, how do they have access? Is it by setting up a community hub, get some women who are experts to come and be training them. Let them even understand that you can sell your cassava. For me, I like talking about women. I go back to the rural woman because for me, the women is not about just me and you.
Sure.
We are opportune. Thousands out there do not have the opportunity you and I have, and most women have. So how do I ensure that that woman who is out there, because it's about her now, the equity is about that support for her to be able to move so that she cannot remain where she is, so that she can be her best and contribute her quota to the society. A lot of women in Nigeria, small business owners, farmers, when they produce their food stuff and that is it, they're waiting for market days. But with technology, you snap a picture of your products, whatever you're doing, put it out there, circulate it, send it to your friends to circulate. Just last week, a senior colleague who has retired from the office shared with me that there's a powder that has been processed for you to make masa. So you wake up in your morning, you don't need to soak it overnight, and you mix it just the way the beans powder. The same thing is now in the market. So how did you come? So those are the kind of things, and she was marketing. So you share among, and that's how your business grew. People that need it, you now come. Oh, okay, there's this person that provides the services. How do you get linked up? Yes.
Okay, so while we try to get in on the real conversation for today, let me still hold you up on the International Women's Month, right?
Okay.
How can women leverage, the international organizations, local organizations, national organizations are trying to make provisions for all of this. Yeah. But how can the individual position herself to make the best of these opportunities that are being made available?
So when you say the individual, I like to put it in such a way that when you look at our society and you take out the woman, you know that as a woman, she's not fully independent. So I'm looking at her as an individual. So for her to become what she wants to be, there are factors around her. Take an example, a married woman. By the time my husband sees me with the phone, he knows I've never used the phone before, he sees me with the phone. What do you think? So there's a lot to be done around the people that surround this individual woman. For them to buy into. So for me, it's about acceptance and embracing. That's where for me, I see the embracing equity comes in. That, oh, this digital tool she now owns is not just for her to be like my ABC, but it's also to help her market her business, do one or two things, reach out.
That'll be productive.
That will be exactly. So that product, by the time the people around her understands this productivity, I tell everybody we give that woman that support. But when you don't have this understanding, you begin to see it in a negative light. You would think, oh, she now has access to phone, she's not getting exposed, you see it as a threat and all that. So for me, it's about working with people around her. So it's not just her. First of all, it's also, I think in addition, for her to also accept that, yes, she needs to move. Okay. I've been doing
You've been on this mountain for too long.
I've been selling it in the market every 4 days or one week. How do I move beyond every 4 days and one week market days? How do I use my phone? What do I tell people that I do? How do I put my business out there for people to see? And that's why for me, working with people around will help her to move.
Okay. She must be ready
herself
with people
and then
around.
Work with people around, yes.
Amazing.
Believe in herself. What I'm doing is yielding results. Because if you start it, you don't believe. And when you get somewhere, you get discouraged, you want to stop. But once you believe that, yes, I can do this, I have the capacity, now I can do it, I move. Once you're going, even if you get some hitches on the way, you are motivated by that, your end goal. That, yes, you are heading towards productivity. Then you keep moving. You will learn from the mistakes and move. For me, that's just the way the journey should be.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so this now takes us to the meat of our conversation. Okay. Networking. What is networking?
Very beautiful word. I don't want to sound but I made some notes when I was coming here. But networking is about building connections.
Okay.
Building connections to advance whatever you are doing. It may be your career. Yeah. You get into a network of people who are specialized in your area of career. It's about information sharing, developing knowledge and learning.
Okay.
to advance whatever you are doing. That's why I brought in the business of angle. So we are not sitting down and discussing the career women here. But let's go back and look more at those ones that do not have the opportunity. It's about meeting and, connecting together, talking together, sharing ideas, learning. It's a space for you to go and hear about other people's work. And then you also learn from it and see how it's a space for building upon your own weakness. That's what I see networking at, because you are meeting with people who have passed through the journey, who have attained some position in life. And so when you get to interact with them, you get to hear a lot of information. You get to know about how they did it. You also learn about that challenge that you have. And once you get to those opportunities or those spaces, and people are talking about it, you get to know, oh, so this is my challenge. I can attend to it this way, because Mr. ABCD has done it this way, or Mrs. AD, and has produced results. So it's something for me I can go and try. So that's why I say it's about sharing ideas, about learning, it's about knowledge gaining. Gaining knowledge about how to handle issues, how to advance your career. I sit in many places where different trainings are organized, different topics. Sometimes we are even asked to introduce the topics we want the members of the network to discuss. So who has that specialization in that area? And so the date is selected, and so that person is up on that day. Everybody is available, and then the person takes you through. You ask questions, you interact with the facilitators, and so it gives you an opportunity to build connection, learn, and of course you also share your business ideas. There are lots of people who sit in Benue State, they sell yam, but they can package their yam and ship it to somebody in Abuja here.
True.
Why? Networking. So for me, it's a space. That space provided for people to come together, build connection, learn, share ideas, and grow.
So I'll go back to our introduction, right? This quote from Shola Adesekin. Women must learn to network upwards, sideways, downwards. Older women providing mentorship and leadership. Your contemporaries providing inspiration. Okay, maybe let's break it down, right?
Yeah.
The older women providing mentorship and leadership. Now, how does this impact on a woman's networking journey? That leadership and mentorship.
Very interesting question. Now, in the space, there are women of different positions. Someone has attained the leadership position. And once the person is there, the person shares his own story. You get to know what the person learned to get to that position, that leadership. Did the person take leadership courses? Did the person, enhance his or hers, because there are self-development opportunities? Did the person on his own? What do I need to do to be able to attain such leadership position? And leadership is about influence.
True.
Able to influence in your sphere of space where you are. You're able to change things around. So not just a leader who is just seated there, but a leader who is changing things for good and making positive impact. So if you're in that space, then you learn what do you need to do. And then the other thing about leadership is also, and I think it's tied to mentorship, is you should also develop other women coming.
Okay.
You're not going to remain in that leadership position forever.
Okay, so that's the upward
mentorship, succession planning in some places, hand holding.
So that's must be an element of intentionality.
Intentionality. It has to be intentional, or else if that person leaves, the knowledge goes with the person, the expertise and everything.
There's a gap.
There's a gap, and so I think that upward or downward, we put it now, fills that gap, provides that institutional kind of memory. You understand? Today we sit down, we remember Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. What did she do? Just small thing, just small acts. Why are we remembering her? Because of something she did and it made impact. So your name will go a long way. People will reckon with you that it was from you they learned this, they learned ABCD. You understand? So for me, that's the leadership part of it. Mentorship is about these women have been through this journey. I remember in our office one day we were having a staff meeting and they were asking a question around why some women were not delivering. So some said it's their studies. And one of our elderly mummies, we call her, or mamas in the office, said, you are even opportune to have had your first degree as a single girl. Some of us had our first degree as married women with children. How did they go about it? You can still do it. Today that you have one child, a child or two, you are complaining. We had 4 or 5 children before we went to the university. Some had finished giving birth. So that way, is an opportunity for them to tell you some of the things you can put in place as coping mechanisms to be able to get that education and do your work and do whatever you want to do. And so it's an opportunity to say, this is how to go about ABC, and then sometimes coming to also reach out, open up to them, and they provide whatever necessary support that you need. Like if, for instance, you want to develop something, a proposal or something, and you have no idea, go to these elderly women. They put you through, they share samples with you, they give you instances, link, and then connect you to even other people. Links. So for me, networking is also about linkages, because that's one good thing that we have seen come out very well in networking. What the gap you have, you leverage on somebody's strength, and then you are linked to it, and you find yourself, you know, moving on the ladder that you have chosen. So for me, mentorship and leadership, yes, is very, very key for the older generation. Passing down that knowledge for us to know.
For continuity.
Thank you, for continuity. You are not the only one that have been there. We have been there. Maybe the opportunity was not us. Because now things are much better. Our mothers will tell you, now you have technology. But the other time you don't have technology. You sit at home and do your assignment. Somebody is in the university, she has to go to class.
Yeah.
And all that. So that's very...
What an amazing conversation we have had so far. We'll go on a very short break. When we're back, we're going to be talking about mentoring sideways. Don't touch that dial. See you soon.
In terms of true worship, we must seek the Lord. We will not be able to come with all our perfections.
We will recognize as superseding every other gift. So love, in essence, is very important. Our position is who we are. Our disposition is the way we relate to who we are. So it's not about your position, it's also about your disposition.
People of God, I want to tell you that no matter who you are, no matter your position, your status,
you have encountered that superior power, the efficacious power of the blessing.
It says this God hears prayers, and then he expands the limits of whose prayer is heard.
Worthy by design.
Welcome back. We have been talking with the amazing Kelta Giwa. She's been amazing on this conversation on networking. We left off the conversation at networking upwards. Now let's talk about networking sidewards. Shola Adesekin said, your contemporaries provide inspiration and support. Let's talk about that inspiration and support.
So now you're looking at people that you're more or less on the same stage of the journey. And so we are all equal, but we don't know it all.
True.
And so when you see one of your colleagues has done something and achieved greatly, it inspires you that you too, you can do it. And so if you have challenges where you can, in the course of the journey in life, and you're not able to get there, you now reach out to the person. How did you do this? How did you do this? How did you attend to this? I have this challenge. How did you attend? So the person shares with you to say, okay, you can do like this. You can look up at these resources. You can link you up to places. And that way you find yourself learning and also growing. So for me, it's about information sharing at that level too. You know, helping each other, holding each other's hand to be on the same page, move together. You understand? So that whatever we are all doing, we are doing a bit to contribute to societal development. Because if I do it alone, I may not be able to contribute to meet that. But by the time we all at our various spheres of influence are together, building that connection, so we become like a mass force that can pull a lot of people together. And then we contribute whatever we're able to contribute to, whatever space that we belong to, and make the desired change. For me, I always say, wherever you are, please be determined to make that positive change. Leave a mark. That tomorrow, that's why I gave an example. I said today you can call on Fumi Lion and some Kuti. Tomorrow or today we're calling names like Obieze Kwesili and others. These women, they have all attained different positions. What have they done? That's at their level. What are we learning?
At our level.
At our level, because if you know maybe someone who has worked close with For instance, Ngozi
Okonjo-Iweala.
Iweala. You know, that way she comes back, she's sharing about, so people at that her space are learning. So you see yourselves growing together. Okay, we have this role model. Because that's another thing. At that level, you are also looking up to others. So that force of working together, learning together, and striving to achieve that goal or whatever you set for yourself, for me, is that it's still mentorship across board for yourself. So it's not, mentorship can be at any level. There's a kind of facilitated mentorship and there's a voluntary kind of mentorship. So at this stage, you are now working with your contemporaries, you're learning from each other, rising together. If possible, where you fall together. But you know, sometimes...
Or where you fall, there's someone to pick you up.
That's another thing. That's why you are that level. So when you're not doing it, where you're not getting it right, okay, add one of this and one of this, and then you move together. So for me, I think that is just another level of networking and mentorship that we should be discussing. That level of working together.
Because I think it's very important, because if you are not connecting to people at that level, the times when you are down, there won't be anyone to pick you up.
No,
because the person up there might be too high up there to come for you. But the person at your level will easily reach out and give you a helping hand.
Sure. No, you're right.
So it's important for us to be very deliberate about it.
I like that.
Don't dispose of friendships. Don't dispose of relationships. Just, okay, there's something that even comes to mind, when we talk about our contemporaries. It's easy to have frictions, with your contemporaries. And some people are quick to just dispose. We can't go on with this friendship anymore because she hurt me along there, she hurt me along there. Should we hold on to those hurts, or should we hold on to the goals?
For me, I don't care whatever you say. It's for us to get the job done. I say it in my office. I say it in my office all the time. I don't mind whatever friction, because we are bound. We come with different backgrounds and different understanding.
True.
So sometimes there may be that friction for us to try to understand ourselves. But let's not forget that this friction will not help us to get to where we're going. So if we are having friction, we should be having friction and thinking about the goal while we are together. Or else, just like you said, I don't think I can work with this person.
We miss the point.
It comes a lot. I don't think I can work with this person. And so you miss it, you leave the person, and we're also not helping the person.
True.
Because for me, by the time you think of the goal and say, okay, can we leave that? We can have that discussion later. But can we get focus on why we are here
Can we
together?
Succeed together?
Let's succeed together. Exactly, because when the praises come, it will not come to you alone, it comes to the team.
Yeah.
So friction bound to happen, but I think it's better to be focused on that final goal.
The last part of this is younger women provide vigor and help broaden or freshen your perspective. Let me come to this from a personal point of view. How can you make this look so real to the viewer listening and watching you?
Okay, working with people that you are above, slightly above. So like you are a manager in the office and you have line managers.
The Gen Z.
Line managers that you're working with. And the truth of the matter is, I want to come from even, and I'm using a lot of personal experiences. Because of age, there are some things I want to do. They will like, madam, let me do it. That's one thing I found with the younger girls that I work with. Because they've learnt it, let's do it. You understand? And you give them that room and you go together. You allow them to do it, and where they make mistakes, okay, can we also try this other way? You network, you talk together, you brainstorm on issues. They are learning, you are correcting whatever gaps they have, and you are also providing leadership at that level. So it's about, for me, hand-holding. And I remember that word a lot, because when I came on board in one of my latest jobs, and I found that someone was supposed to work with, they didn't have the capacity. And I was like, how do I get, because for me it's about achieving this result. We had a very challenging and technical intervention to deliver. And then this we didn't have the primary certificate capacity. And so my boss told me, said, Kelta, it's about hand holding. You have been there getting all the exposure, learning on the job, trainings and all that. These people haven't had it. And so you're coming on this journey. How do you work with them? They don't have it. How do you train them? And so I decided, okay, on my own, I went to them and we started like, please, anywhere you don't know it, don't be too ashamed to say it. Even me too, there are things I don't know sometimes, and I'm going to come to you. So be open about the conversation and let them also open up to you where they're having challenges. Because another thing with working with people is when you are not accessible. So make yourself accessible to your subordinates. Let the younger generation be open to you. They can come and meet you and ask you for experiences because you have lived these experiences and they want to know. Like the example I was sharing with you, a colleague came to me and said, how did I do it? How was I coping in this challenging career and as a mother? How did I combine motherhood? How did I combine being the role of a mother, being the role of this and all that? And I knew she was struggling. And I asked her questions. Do you have a help at home? She said, she has a help, but the baby is this, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So besides you and the baby and in help, I mean, you and the baby coming to work because we have a crash in the office. So when you get back home, how do you allow the help to also support so that you can also attend? Because if you don't leverage on support system, your work will suffer and it will affect your performance.
Sure.
So in that way, you provide that experiences for them to learn from it, and then those how you also went through it, how you learned, how you were able to overcome those challenges and help them, teach them, put them through. Yeah, and like you said, the vigor. Like I said, there are some things I can't do before you know it. No, madam, let's do it. No, madam, let's do it. And I'm just sitting and I'm watching. There was a day I had to travel. And something quickly came up in my absence. We were on the phone, communicating, chatting, calls and everything. And they started feeling they were stressing me on the journey. But along the line, because they knew what to do. I tell you, when I came on Monday, I'm like, team, let's get together. Let's get it. Like, madam, we've already done it. I know we didn't want to stress you because... And I felt very happy. So they can also fill in the gap where you are not there.
With very fresh perspectives and ideas.
Fresh ideas. Jokingly, sometimes I'll tell them, you know me, I'm old school. So how do you get to do this? And they'll be laughing, mommy, they'll just come, you understand? So you have to be friends with them. Don't show that, yes, because you've been there, they're just coming up, you're now showing that difference. It's not worth it. Then you need to carry them along. You need to work with them like your sisters, your daughters, your friends, so that, like you said, they can be there for you. I've just learned something 3 years ago, lifelong learning. You know, get end, now lifelong. So you keep learning along the line. You can learn from your generation, you can learn from those below, you can learn from those ahead of you. So the world is not dynamic. Things are changing. The young people are able to grasp things faster than...
True. And they're being exposed to more information.
The way they use all the social media more than some of us, you know. So you leverage on the information that they have, and all of you work together and see how you can get to the goal. But for me, hand holding, very important.
Oh, this has been a refreshing conversation. But trust me, there is still more. It's about hand holding. That really stands out for me. Our time is fast spent. But trust me, this conversation continues in the next episode. But before we get there, let us talk about our Ask Away segment. I'll see you there. You're welcome back to our Ask Away segment. Today we have a question from P. And it says, I have always had big dreams of becoming a successful businesswoman. And I believe I have done all within my power to make this my reality. However, the more I try, the more the dream seems unattainable. I have read stories of people who tried and succeeded, and I'm wondering if that could ever be my case. Because from where I stand, I don't know what I see anymore. What do you make of this? Wow. It seems like someone at a crossroad.
That's very, I don't want to use the word pathetic. I'm a bit concerned. But first question I want to ask is, what is success to her?
Okay.
What is success? Success is at different levels. And she'll be shocked that by the time she does a good analysis of where she's coming from, she will find out that she has even moved a step.
True.
So she needs to celebrate herself in that first step she has moved and then ask, what's next for me to move? So for me is, my dear, take a glass of water, cool down, calm down. Because if you hurt yourself too much, you will give up and not continue.
True.
So do a reflection and see whether, what have I not done right that I think I need to redo? Or can I learn from somebody who has done it? How did the person do it? Is there something I am not doing? But for me, the person should not beat herself too hard. Life is hard on its own. So don't beat yourself too hard that you have not succeeded. If you check very well, you will find at one point or the other you have moved somewhere.
True.
Celebrate that success and sit back and look at what's the next step for me. I don't totally agree with her to say where she sits now, it's not the end. I think she needs to look out for opportunities where she can be spoken to. And like I said, deep reflecting on what she has done. Where did I get it wrong? How can I amend it, do it better, and move? Or rather than sitting to conclude and draw a conclusion that from where I sit, it's no longer possible. It may look impossible, but until you try. The people she's referring to that they tried, go and hear their story. The person who developed the electric bulb, how many times did the person try and fail? But the person kept on trying. So for me, it's not to be too hard on yourself. Like I said, how do you do a reflection of where you're coming from? How far have I come? Where is the missing link? What is it that I didn't do well? Did I put money where I was not supposed to put money? Did I,
am I networking properly?
That's another thing. What's marketing strategy? If the issues are with marketing, what marketing options do I have? Are my prices too high? Is there anything I can add to it to make? I learned something from, I don't want to mention her name, a TV star who taught me one of her leadership courses. She said, if a woman is frying akara and you think you want to go and start frying akara, don't go and sit down and say she's frying akara, she's making it. Also think of what you can do to make that akara fry different from her own. So what business are you doing?
Carve a niche for yourself.
Exactly. How can you carve a niche for yourself such that from your reflection, you will do it better? And my dear, don't be too ashamed to ask questions. If you have opportunities to network, go for events. I have a friend who resigned from an office and went into event management. She did not have the materials. I would even be in Jos. She would call to say, please, on your way back, I need you to collect a parcel for me. Guess what was in the package that I was collecting? The cushion covers she will use to cover it. She doesn't have them in Abuja, but we'll pick it from Jos and bring it. And she will use it and get her money, return. Gradually, she was saving money on this. And today, she's a big-time event planner that right now, I think they just came back, if they are still not there, in an event in Dubai. Event managers. And I saw her there. She was there successing and looking back. That these years, I didn't even know it. And today, she's out there, and I believe she's going to meet others that she has done better than others who are far ahead of her, and she's networking. So for me, is to identify the people who are in this same business, find out how they are doing, what is it that you're not doing well, rather than sitting down and beating yourself too hard and saying that for you it's
over.
I actually do not encourage people to say it is over. What is it that you can do differently? I think for me that should be the question. After doing a reflection and an analysis, depending on the scale of her business, I don't know, but she can also seek professional advice. And that's where networking comes in, because you don't pay much in networking spaces. But you have business schools that you pay to go and learn some things. But in networking spaces, knowledge is free. All you need to do is be very honest, have honest conversations with whoever, and you must also define why you're also reaching out to somebody for an advice. So in what area? Don't think because my business is failing and the whole problem you're going to pour it on the person who you're going to talk to, but what specifically can the person help? By the time you are very straightforward and strategic, the person knows the points to guide you with. And talk to as many people as you can and see how you can do a mix of these ideas and try something different. These days, they say we are doing what? Thinking outside the box.
You've heard it all. We are thinking outside the box. It is a process, and every step you have taken so far, trust me, is driving you towards your goal. Don't throw in the towel. Trust me, all of us here, we are rooting for you. And we'll see you at the other side of success. This is all we have for you on our Ask Away segment today. Please send in your questions through our social media handles. Drop it on YouTube. We'll be happy to respond to you and to guide you in your journey to a better life. See you next time. Flowing from last week's tidbit, someone asked if it was okay to buy a property jointly with her fiancé, her boyfriend, or her somebody, so they can jointly build their future. As noble as this may sound, it is clearly, someone said, it's car parked at owner's risk, because the relationship may end at any time. So to avoid a messy situation that may come with property sharing, it is advisable to rather not buy property jointly. However, if you're so in love and you choose to share the property with him, please ensure that your names are clearly written as the parties. Example, Patricia, Dominic, and Friday Samuel. I don't know if that works for somebody. Patricia, Dominic, and Friday Samuel. So in the event of a breakup, the property can be sold and the proceeds shared between you both. But why take this risk in the first place? I've said my bit. The decision is yours. So this is where we draw the curtain on today's conversation. I hope you are more informed. Till we come your way again next week, same time, same station, remember that you, yes, you are worthy by design. I'm Ibera Chims. See you next time.